These are the Beats Fit Pro, which Apple are branding as the more rugged version of the AirPods Pro for the sportier audiophile. But do they live up to the hype, and should you get a pair? Let's take a look. So yeah, the Beats Fit Pro have been around for a while. They launched in the US last year, but they've only just hit our shores here in the UK, so I thought I'd take a look at them. Now the launch price is a rather princely £199, which Apple says is £50 cheaper than the list price of these, the AirPod Pros. However, you can often find the AirPods Pro for much cheaper, usually around the £199, £189 mark. I think on Amazon at the moment they're below £200. So actually, given that they have very similar functionality, it makes sense to do a side-by-side between the Beats Fit Pro and the AirPods Pro. Now, you know, if you've seen my previous review, that I think quite highly of the AirPods Pro. I think they sound surprisingly good, and I love the functionality with Apple products. They're not so hot if you've got an Android phone. The Beats Fit Pro promise many of the same features. So for example, if you do run the Apple ecosystem, these will pair seamlessly with your iOS and Mac devices, and once they've paired with one device, are available all across iCloud. They also have that Find My Device functionality, so you can locate them on the Find My network. And the Apple H1 chip allows features such as the activation of Siri just with your voice. I won't say the famous words for fear of triggering all your Siris. But yeah, they do many of the same things, but they have one or two features which set them apart from the AirPods Pro. So first of all, they do charge via USB-C rather than these, which charge by the Lightning port. So those of you who do have Android devices and don't really want to carry an extra Lightning charging cable, these are definitely better in that regard. The battery life, having said that's about the same, so you get around 5 to 6 hours depending on whether you have noise cancelling on or off, plus an extra 3 charges in the box, giving a total of around 24 hours, which is the same as the AirPod Pros. The other reason that Android users will like them is that unlike the AirPods Pro, which has no dedicated software for Android, you can download the Beats app for an Android phone, and this allows you to change the settings, which is something that you can't do with the AirPods Pro on an Android device. Now, Apple are marketing the Beats Fit Pro to the more active user because they are slightly more rugged than the AirPod Pros. They have a little rubber fin which is meant to hold the earbuds more securely in your ear when you're doing some vigorous activity, and they also have IPX4 water resistance, so if you get a bit sweaty and minging at the gym, these will more than stand up to that. Like the AirPods Pros, these also offer Apple's brilliant noise cancellation mode as well as a transparency mode, allowing you to hear what's going on. Now, if you go to a gym like mine, which is really noisy with ridiculous, really terrible EDM music pumped through all the time, having noise cancellation is a real boon, and it's something that I missed on the old Powerbeats Pro, which I used to use prior to the AirPods Pro. Now, I've been happily using my AirPods Pro with a little foam tip mod as my main gym earpiece, and I've found them to be really comfortable, and they really do stay in my ears very well. And interestingly, even though these Beats Fit Pro have got a little rubber wingtip thing which is meant to just hold them securely in your ear, I found that these didn't stay in at all well. You do get 3 different sizes of silicone ear tip with the Beats Fit Pro, but try as I might, when I was going for a long run, especially if I got a bit sweaty, these things always started working their way out of my ears in a way that the AirPods Pro with a foamy mod didn't do. And in fact, even the AirPods Pro with the silicone tips, which I went back to just to try, stayed more securely in my ears than the Beats Fit Pro. Now, it may just be that I've got weird freaky ears and your mileage might vary, but you know, I found it a little bit disappointing as these are primarily sold to the active user. The case of these is also rather bulky, so there's no way you're going to be able to get away with slipping these into your change pocket in your jeans, making them a little bit less appealing for just day-to-day Bluetooth earbud listening. The AirPod Pros come in this lovely slim case that you can just pretty much slide into any pocket regardless of how small they are. They do, however, look a bit more exciting than the AirPods Pros. I mean, don't get me wrong, white understated Apple design is great, but these come in some funky colours, including white, the slate grey with the green accent that I've got here. You also get black and I think some kind of lavender colour. It certainly allows you to change up your style a bit more if that's your thing. The other feature that's a bit different with the Beats Fit Pro is the fact that you control the playback and all those other functions, not through a squeezy stem like on the AirPods Pro, but with a little tactile button in the Beats logo. And actually it works quite well, and certainly when you're running it's a lot easier to just press a button than it is to squeeze the stalk of the AirPods Pro. What you will notice is that when you press the button you kind of shove the earbuds a little bit deeper into your ear. So yeah, feature-wise these are not bad. The USB-C charging is a real bonus. The integration of the Apple ecosystem is brilliant, but having that capacity to control these with the Android app is a real step up from the AirPods Pros. So now we come to the bit that you've all been waiting for. How do they actually sound? Well, I'm going to preface this by saying that if you do just buy them to use at the gym and in active scenarios, you probably won't care too much for the sound because, let's face it, there's so much noise going on around you that you probably won't sit and listen. But if I'm spending 200 quid on a pair of Bluetooth earbuds, I'd want to use them at other times, not just in the gym. And this is where I'm afraid to say the Beats Fit Pro just don't cut it, but not in the way that you might expect. So traditionally Beats has been associated with a really heavy, overbearing, muddy bass. And actually, although the bass on the Beats Fit Pro is certainly more prominent on the AirPods Pro, it's not too distasteful. You do get some element of bass detail and texture, and it's not totally overwhelming. It's certainly a little bit more boosted than what I typically prefer, but it really isn't massively offensive and certainly gives a bit of energy and vigor to the sound. But my main problem with these, and the thing I wish Apple had really reined back on, is the top end, which is just shrill and painful and just totally spoils the enjoyment of the music for me. So one of my favourite albums is Moonsafari by Air, 1998 classic. It's just a perfect Sunday evening chill out album, and if I'm feeling a little bit down I just spin up Moonsafari and it usually makes me feel a little bit better because it's just so mellow and smooth, but not through the Beats Fit Pro. So for example, the first track, which has a really kind of lively electric piano section through the middle and towards the end, it just sounds shrieky and awful on the Beats Fit Pro, really harsh. It just cuts through all the other stuff that's going on in the mid-range and in the bass. Do you know, it's one of my favourite tracks ever, and through this it's almost unlistenable. And the same is true for lively female vocalists. So you know, another one of my favourite vocalists is Sia, and she belts out some of her vocal lines and I just couldn't stand to listen to them through the Beats Fit Pro. It's just so sharp. It's just sharp to the point of, you know, touch it and your finger starts bleeding, that level of sharp. And it just spoilt it for me. So there is some mid-range and it is possible to discern some nuances in it, but it's then just totally spoilt when that gruesome treble kicks in and just slashes everything to pieces. So I found these really, really disappointing, and compared to the AirPods Pro, which I actually think sound really good as far as wireless earbuds go. I think, you know, the only real competition is the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro and perhaps the Sony WF-1000XM4. But certainly for 200 quid, these sound great and they have all that functionality of these, and for me they even stay in my ears better when I'm exercising. So for me it's an absolute no-brainer. AirPods Pro every time, and I'd even pay 20 or 30 quid extra for them because I just hate the way these sound. But those are just my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think if you've picked up a pair. As I say, if you are just using them at the gym, then you may not find them that bad. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, do consider doing so, and if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.